We back and we back. Zeus P, Tank Juice. Let the light in, man. It's the 2-hour lunch break, dog. I'm locked in. So turn your speakers up a notch and grab the white gin. And when I'm on the road to the office or the crib, it's Big Zeus, St. Jude, the ones I wanna hear. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Lake.
Coming to you live, putting on for the city.
This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Lake.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.
And welcome back to another episode of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, man. A podcast for Austin, from Austin. I'm your host, Trot with Zeus, and today we got one of them ones in the building, man. Our guest today is somebody whose name rings bells from the Eastside all the way to France. She's a storyteller, a poet, a student and a teacher of the culture, and one of the most authentic voices to ever come out of 78702. She's write ACL, Open Up for Legends, build community through her music, and she's still evolving, still experimenting, and still pushing herself outside the comfort zone, something most artists never dare to do. And let's be clear, she's not just one of the coldest in Austin, she's one of the coldest, period. Ladies and gentlemen, family, Eastside's own, man, give it up for the homie Blakchyl in the building, man. How are you doing?
Hey,
welcome to the show.
Let's go. I made it.
Right. You know, so number one, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. We were talking about it off air. Mm-hmm. You are a woman of many talents. You got a lot of pots on the stove. So, I thank you for coming through because, I know you got a lot of stuff going on right now, right? So with that said, let's go ahead and, let's talk about your background, right?
Let's do it.
So you represent East Austin, right? You do it in a way that, some people rep whole cities, right? Mm-hmm. What does East Austin mean to you now as a native, especially, as the city is changing so fast?
Right. What does it mean to me now? Perseverance, passion, persistence. Mm-hmm. That's what the East Side means to me. And just like my family, a lot of my dad's side is from 2102 area. So I feel like a lot of my experience come out of this side of town. Mm-hmm. That is just kind of hard to forget.
Right.
Connections, friends, parties. So yeah, I say like nostalgia. Like.
Gotcha. I completely understand. As with family on the East Side, I get all that.
It's just so easy. Like I feel like once you figure out everything on the East Side, you're able to like navigate the whole city because it's just central. It's like in the middle of everything. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know, I was doing some research on you, getting ready for this episode, and one of your interviews, you said hip hop is really in me. You can tell when it's really in somebody, right? What moment made you realize that hip hop wasn't just like a hobby, like it was like your calling?
I feel like I kind of had maybe two moments like that.
Okay.
So the first one was probably hearing the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill for the first time.
Okay, I like that.
And then on my own, like nobody was like, you should listen to this. I found it in one of my aunt's CD cases. Shout out to Nene, my aunt Nene.
Okay.
Well, she was like really big on just like 3 6 Mafia, a lot of stuff from Houston.
There we go.
A lot of chopped and screwed stuff, Scarface. But Lauryn Hill, I found that. And I was familiar with her singles and stuff like Doo Wop and X Factor. But once I really dove into it, I was like, dang. Some stuff I didn't totally get, but I was like, wow, I feel like I can do this. Mm-hmm. And then the second time, when I joined the Cipher Austin Hip Hop Project, and I just really wanted to make beats at first. I was like really shy, did poems, but would tell everybody like, yo, I'll make your beats. Like, I'll be in the background. But once I started telling my story a lot more and putting it out to the world and seeing how people was reacting to it, especially like older people, the people that were older than me, I was like, dang, I can do this.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm really touching people by, my experience. So it just kind of became addicting.
Mm-hmm.
And then once my mentor Gator was giving me instrumentals, I was able to really figure out my pocket, So, yeah, I say those 2 times.
Okay, I love that. So, I know for your aesthetic, for your look, you kind of carry like a different aesthetic, right? As far as hip hop goes, right? You're a tall, dark skinned, you're a queer woman as well. With hip hop is a male dominated space, right? Historically, right? So with that said, like, what part of your identity kind of helped shape your grind the most in a space that may not be the most welcome to you?
What helped shape it? I'd say having a really great support system helped shape me. People like Zell Miller III, Ebony Stewart, Shannon Sandrea, and just being able to get that support from cis men that were like, yo, I really rock with you. Like, you're going to be one of the best, and I'm going to help you get there. Dashade Moonbeam from Blacklisted Individuals. People like that were also gave me that tough love too. But also was like, yo, it's a dirty game out there. You got to be ready. So from a young age, from like 15, 16, I kind of was already mentally prepared for some of the things I would face.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything, but yeah, just some things. So I say just having a great support system.
Gotcha.
From women and men, so.
Okay. So I know you brought up the Cipher a little bit ago, right? Let's talk about that. So I know it started in 2007. You were in the Cipher at 15, learning beats, poetry. What's one moment from that program that you like still carry with you today?
Oh, I think connection is like my biggest thing. Cause like I was telling you, I was so shy. I feel like I'm still kind of shy now, but I'm a little better. But just connection with different cultures. Cause I feel like before the Cipher, I was just so used to Black Austin. I wasn't really exposed to other cultures like that until maybe after high school.
Okay.
But yes, I grew up around brown people as well. Like, they were in the city too. But as far as like, white people, like just non-Black. If you was non-Black, like it was new for me.
Right. Okay.
So where was we at?
And I would say, what's one moment from that program that you still carry with you?
Yeah, what I carry with. So I would say connection.
Okay.
And being authentic about it. Staying in contact with those people that you may align yourself with, and just being genuine about it.
Okay.
So I say, my biggest thing was connection.
Gotcha. I love that. So I know the Cipher, they they banned misogyny, they banned homophobia. Before that was like kind of like really like a thing, right?
Yeah.
How did being in that kind of environment shape you as like, your early days as an artist and also just as like a human being, you know?
It was so refreshing too to know that Zell had our back in that way. It was able to challenge us, even if you was queer or, So I feel like it was super refreshing, and it's good to, hit that age range too, because I feel like it's such a pivotal transitional time from like 15 to 21.
Oh yeah.
So I love seeing how Zell and Shannon Gator was able to challenge us by being like, yo, like, this is your sister. Like, why you gotta call her a bitch, or, or why are you always talking about cars, clothes, and hoes, and,
Right.
What about your story? Like, what about you that you wanna, talk about? So I say it was just super refreshing to be around, and I feel like that's stuff that I still take with me to this day. as far as like who I collab with and how they feel about women and queer people. So early on, that made me have a discernment
Gotcha.
with my connections and what I like to talk about and the spaces I want to be in, you know.
Okay.
Which is hard, you know, sometimes because, you know, different type of artists get booked and they say different things or, you know.
Got it. Okay. So let's switch gears a little bit, right? Let's talk MDK. Mine's of a different kind, right? So mine's of a different kind. That was a decade-long chapter of your life, right? Talk about that.
It's a marriage right there.
So talk about that experience, man, and what's one lesson that, you know, from that group dynamic that taught you that solo artistry never could?
Ooh. I feel like probably for MDK, our biggest thing that we had to learn was placing boundaries for each other. Because we met each other at such a young age and
Okay.
yeah, we were just still figuring it out as teens and then young adults and then graduating out of the Cipher and being like, okay, we don't want to just be seen as like these teeny bop kids that was like in the Cipher, which it did so much for us. But now that we're older, we're like, okay, now we got to make this name for ourselves, continue to grow. So I say like boundaries was our biggest thing. As the years went on and just learning how to communicate with each other just outside of like music. So I say boundaries for sure.
Okay.
And just knowing when to take a break, step back, come back together.
Right.
So yeah, I say that was like the biggest thing, having boundaries.
There we go. So
Therapy, you know, all that good stuff.
Right. So I was gonna say, I know, like we said earlier, that was like a, you know, decade-long thing that y'all had. Y'all didn't actually like necessarily like break up, like just life started life and basically.
Right.
Right. What helped y'all?
I ain't gonna lie, I was beefing with them for a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
But it wasn't like I'll never talk to them again type
Right.
thing. I feel like maybe at that time I felt like our friendship was more important than the business, and I could see how things was getting a little confusing. And like you said, life was life, and the guys were getting older. They're a couple of years older than me.
Yep.
Some was getting married, some was having kids. Some moved a little further. Still stayed in Texas, but like a little further away. Yeah, so I started to notice that early though. And even though I was like hesitant and there was a little fear there, I was like, okay, I might have to go solo because I want to continue to do this in a certain way, certain pace. And I'm seeing that that's not really happening with the guys. And I was just like, I gotta keep going forward. There was like this one moment where I was talking to RG and Mask when they had Elevate on the South Side. And I remember just being so emotional and just being like, oh God, like it's just too much dealing with three guys. Like it's so much, I don't know what to do. And I remember them just telling me, it was so simple though. At the time I was just like, ugh, I just wish they could just give me more. But they was like, you know, you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep writing your music. You gotta keep, you know, coming over here. And I feel like me showing them like how dedicated I was, it just brought us so much closer, like to this day. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So I know roughly about 5 years after that, you know, y'all actually ended up reuniting.
Yes.
Y'all had a project called Hazy Days. Well, a track called Hazy Days.
Yes.
Right. Talk about that experience and what was it like? You know, all y'all stepping, you know, back in the booth together again.
Yeah, that was crazy. Even though I felt like in between that time we still was like talking to each other personally, like texting or
Right.
you know, chopping it up, like apologizing to each other, taking accountability. Like I said earlier, going to therapy and just realizing where we misstepped a little bit. And at the time, me and Nez, we were working on a project, and I remember he mentioned like, yo, we should get MDK, like an MDK feature. So I was like, all right. Hit up Nick, Shy, Breeze, everybody was down to do it. On top of that, we were already preparing to go to Europe again, so we already had to link up and just talk about what do we see MDK as now that we're older, like, and feeling like we don't have to put all this pressure on ourselves to be a group and do music. Like, we can do other things. We can do books together, right. Or we could just continue to tour overseas and that be our thing, or do a few shows in Austin, just chopping it up on how we want MDK to look and not feel so much pressure to come back together and just like be this group, because we know, I don't know, it's just different now, you know, right. As far as scheduling, and I'm just so used to being by myself now. So I knew to keep that boundary as well. Like, don't fall into like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. We a group now, and it's more of like a collective. Okay. And we come together for sure for the tours and anything community based. I feel like we're always down for to come together. But yeah, like I said, me and Nez was working on a project, and he had mentioned MDK being a feature, so that's how that came about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, you know, talking about like your solo career a little bit. Since going solo, your evolution has been kind of wild, right? Like it's gone from boom bap to jazz fusion to R&B. Got some auto tune textures thrown in there. With all that, what kind of unlocked your willingness to experiment a little bit?
I think I was ready for a long time to start experimenting. I think just at the time, the producers that I was working with, they were just so in that pocket, that boom bap pocket. And what I could afford at the time, to be honest. But as I kept making connections and meeting people and like meeting David, I remember I did this show at this thrift store. What was it called? Treasure City. Okay. And I met the band Hi at the time, and they were doing like crazy jazz, R&B, hip hop fusion, and I just started going to their shows and supporting them. Like, barely knew them, but just started going to their shows and was like, yo, I fuck with y'all, like. And then it was like, yo, we fuck with you, and then we just started like doing set swaps. Like, I'll go do a couple of verses on their set, and then they would play for me. Okay. And then we just kind of took it from there. But yeah, and then I always think about the music that I grew up and love, and it's not always boom bap and just straight hardcore rap. And I was like, I want to bring that into my music. I want to be able to like feel those same feelings that I grew up on, but also like a new twist. And it still sounds like me. It doesn't sound like I'm trying too hard. So yeah, I think just meeting other musicians, and that broadened my ear too, working with the band, because they can hear stuff that I might miss or that I don't hear. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like just making different connections, meeting other musicians, meeting their musician friends, and it being like a domino effect, like,
yeah,
Okay. So
I know we were talking off air, right? And I know we were talking about, I know you've been kind of leaning into like your R&B bag,
R&B black
lately, right? So I know, kind of building on that. In the past, you said you've, you study Whitney Houston's ad-libs, Tina Marie's phrasing, Destiny's Child's harmony, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's something that you learned from R&B that that you apply to hip hop?
Ooh. I feel like singers stack a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and their ad-libs is just like out of this world. It's just not, it just can't be touched. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like they, even if it's not a word in the ad-lib, it just brings that feeling out in this whole other way.
Right.
And that's like my favorite shit. It makes me, I don't know,
Gotcha.
so excited.
Okay. There we go. So let's talk collaboration, right? So I know you were talking earlier about you and Nez the villain.
Right.
Y'all
Shout out to
had
Nez.
something going on called Genius.
Right.
Genius, right? And that represents unity across, Eastside, Southside, Black, Latino, queer, straight. What does collaboration? Why does collaboration matter so much to you?
I feel like that collaboration has a lot to do with my foundation, with just being in the Cipher,
Right.
doing duo stuff, group stuff, and it just kind of like being a domino effect. And then sometimes when I collab with artists, we be like, instead of doing one song, let's do a few to choose from. And then it, kind of, turns into a life of its own. So yeah, I feel like sometimes it just kind of happens like that.
Gotcha.
It'll start from a song and then we just love okay, like I'm gonna send you this. And a lot of Genius was written like through Instagram DMs and like
Okay.
phone audio.
Right.
Like we were just so like me and Nez were just talking like every day and be like, I got this verse, I got this hook. Yeah, I'm working on this beat. And it just kept my sword just tight. Like,
Yeah, right. Iron sharpens iron.
yeah, I'm, keep it going. Like, okay, you finished already today? All right, I'm gonna finish like in an hour.
Gotcha.
So I love being around people that work kind of fast. I don't mind if you take your time or if you want to work in the other room or you're a little more private. But I feel like working with people like that, it just sharpens you,
There we go.
So
So I know I was gonna say people often talk about like your adaptability as an artist, right? You tend to kind of elevate whoever you're next to, right? So with that said, what do you feel like the perfect collaboration would be? Like dead or alive? Like anybody, it could be like who would be the
With
perfect
me?
collaboration for you?
ooh, the perfect collab.
Any genre, any person.
I'm gonna have to just go with Crit.
Okay. Okay. And I'm mad at that.
I definitely want that Crit feature. Like,
Right. There we go.
yeah,
So before we actually did the interview, you actually sent me a track, right? You got
did.
another collaboration that you're working on. I don't know if it's
yeah,
public yet. If we can,
yeah.
name
We
it
could
yet.
talk about it.
Okay. So I know we got the homie Los Comed. We got Jay Soldier.
Grow
Yeah,
Child
we got
and
the homie Grow Child.
and Frank Luca.
Frank Luke. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. How did that come together, and when is that gonna come out?
ASAP. It's gonna
okay.
be it's gonna come out soon.
Any day now.
I have like a really dope idea of what I want to do with the visual.
Okay.
But that collab came through Grow Child. Shout out to Grow Child. I feel like he's another one of those artists that works really well on spot. Just gets to it. He reminds me of being in the Cipher when I was 19. Just like, okay, let's link. Let's go to the house. And, because he has a setup at his crib and, nothing fancy. We just get into it, but also having fun with it. And we just decided to invite Los Soldier. And we was like, okay, let's,
Gotcha.
Los chose that beat because before that we was writing to, I think, a few other beats at first. And then we went outside to chill, for a little bit. And then Mass kept playing beats and that one came on and Los was like, yeah. that one.
It's time to lock in.
And then, yeah, so we recorded it. But the thing was, I feel like my verse was terrible. I was trying to rap.
I don't know about that. I mean, I know everybody hard on themselves, but I don't know about that. But okay.
I feel like my first verse was trash. I feel like I was trying to rap too fast.
Okay.
And it just didn't fit. So the next day, because everybody did their thing, I was like, I don't think Frank got to record his verse yet, though. Until like the next day or something like that. But next day, I go back to the studio with Mask. I'm like, yo, I got to rewrite my verse. Wrote it maybe 30 minutes, laid it down. And then the guy was like, oh, yeah, this the one right here. Like, that flow, like, okay. And I was like, and it felt like that for me. Like, it just hit better than my first verse. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the your experience with the Austin music scene, right? So you've performed at camp shows, you've opened up for some legends, you've done collaborations with Austin FC, you performed at ACL.
yeah.
With all of those different moments you've had, what's been your most like damn, like Austin, like the city is really rocking with me type of moment? Like what time was that for you?
Ooh. I say recently, Blues on the Green.
Okay.
I felt like that was really dope because it was nice to see my friends pull up, and some of them was running to get there like, just in time. But it just felt so good to be supported too by Antones and like the staff, and that being like my biggest crowd solo wise. And Blues on the Green, for a lot of people, they grew up going there. I didn't go there.
Right, yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
I did not go to
yeah,
Blues on the Green growing up, which is so funny. But yeah, I say Blues on the Green.
Okay.
And a little bit of ACL too. I feel like I had some dope backing there, and just like being able to invite my friends and family to come see me. And just rising to the occasion too, because I'm nervous before every show.
Okay.
Every single one. It don't matter if it's intimate, big crowds. But I just feel like because I care. So yeah, I was just like, ain't no turning back now. And what was funny too, before my set, I have a funny story. So I was eating.
Okay.
We were eating in the back. And we do like a little smoke break because I didn't finish my burger. I come back, my burger is gone.
Ooh, somebody swiped it.
Mass is like, oh, my bad. I thought it was trash.
Ooh.
I was so hurt and salty. I was like,
I know it.
Touch a nigga's food.
Right,
Never.
right.
So I kind of had like this half headache. I'm about to go on stage. Like in 10 minutes. I'm like, no. I got to shake these nerves off because I'm low-key mad. I'm mad at him. He threw my food away. But, just like experiencing little things like that, that'll make, for some people, make you be like, want to have a diva moment and be like, oh, I can't do this, or
Right.
somebody get me this. It was just more like, fuck, okay. I just gotta go through with it. Let's just go. Let's get to it. But yeah. So it felt good to have the band back me. It just felt good. It felt good. Gio was there. Lynn. So I kind of forgot what your question was, but
Now, what was like the most? What was the moment where you felt like the city was like really rocking with you?
yeah, I say Blues on the Green for sure.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, right. So I know being involved in the Austin music scene, you've experienced a lot of highs, right? But there's also a lot of challenges just dealing with the Austin music scene. I mean, even though it's considered like the live music capital of the world, it doesn't really do the best job of like catering to like Austin's hip hop scene. Right, and it's a lot of conversations with that, a lot of things that come with that. But with that said, though, if there's like any one thing that you feel like the city could do to, kind of fix that or alleviate some things or help out with, you know, Austin hip hop, what do you think it would be?
I always looked at Austin as like a place you have to go digging for. Like a like a record store. Like you
Right.
gotta go dig and find what you can and what you like and so I feel like it's always been like that when it comes to finding artists, finding shows that align with you, spaces that make you feel safe and appreciated. And sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes you gotta go check out stuff to see. But what I say we can use more of, because I do feel like it is changing for the better.
Okay.
People are coming together and, you know, making moves and trying to be the change they want to see. So I just say more authenticity, more honesty with
Right.
each other, less bias. And yeah. So more, I say more authenticity
Gotcha.
for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Not that it's not, but I feel like that'll be able to move the culture forward. You know, more women in the forefront. Yeah,
gotcha.
more women for sure.
You go. So let's switch gears a little bit, right? So I know earlier I was talking about you're a woman of many talents. You got a lot of different things you got going, right? So you also have done some short films in the past,
Right.
right? So you got a
Rapper
short
slash
film,
actress.
right? Yeah, there we go. Short film, Better Than I Imagined, right? That came out recently. What story were you trying to capture visually that music alone really couldn't express?
I'd say just a lot of my childhood
Okay.
and just certain glimpses of my hometown, from just like the bridge on airport. We did some stuff at Sign Bar, which they have like a lot of just like old signs
Right.
from
Yeah. Okay.
Austin bars and venues. Where else were we at? A lot of it definitely was in O2, for sure. I'm trying to think of the locations. Yeah, one of the locations was like inside my apartment.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to do something fun and just capture my section as much as I could with what I had. And I wanted to do something different as far as not just doing one track, but just kind of mixing up the styles for people to see my growth and, you know, be interested in the project. So,
Okay.
and that was my first time at the time working with Ducky and Ambrose. And we went on to do, excuse me, East End. So that was their very first film as far as like dialogue and stuff goes. So that was super fun and kind of last minute as far as like some of the background characters and cast. So, but we still made it happen. So,
Okay. So I was gonna say, so outside of Better Than I Imagined, you've also co-produced some films. You know, you've experimented with some like, you know, different aesthetics, right? Where does that visual storytelling mindset come from? Because that's totally different than, you know, writing something down on pen and pad to make music,
Right.
Right? Like, where did that originate from?
I say probably like my mom and grandma, like they were really big, just movie heads, all genres from action to drama to comedy. And my grandma would tell me a lot after a movie was over. She'd be like, you know, it's important for you to know who these directors and actors and people that are creating these films.
Right.
And I'll just be like, why? It's the most boring part at the end. Like, It's time to turn it off.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for some reason, still, that just stuck with me as I got older. And then I was a huge fan of, like, Access Granted.
Ooh, golly, I ain't.
Right?
I ain't watched that in so long. Okay.
Right. Which I think about trying to bring that back.
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And just pulling up on artist sets and being like, behind the scenes.
would be
Which I feel
live.
like people
Yeah.
kind of do that as far as like content, but like not like the actual Access Granted show.
Okay.
Yeah, and just watching stuff like that. Access Granted, Diary, True Life, stuff like that, and just being a big fan of like Ludacris videos, Missy's. Eminem has some dope videos, thought-provoking shit, Yes. But mainly like Missy stuff was like really captivating to me. And then I started to learn the directors' names, like Benny Boom, Hype Williams.
Right.
Trying to figure out who was making these videos. So yeah, I say my mom and my grandma for sure.
Okay. I love that. I love that. So I was gonna say, now with that said, are we gonna expect any more films coming down the pipeline? Any short films?
Absolutely. There's one on the way.
Okay.
So I decided to do a little something different. I'm doing another short that is kind of like a horror Tales from the Crypt type
okay.
vibe. Because I was, of course, a big fan of Tales from the Crypt and Leprechaun, Back to the Hood, stuff like that. It's a lot of like low budget stuff that are still classics. So I have that coming out soon, and that's directed by Foon Foon KO. Yeah, and I'm excited for that one.
Gotcha. There we go.
So-
We're gonna be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that'll be out soon. Initially, I wanted it to come out during Halloween. But what was crazy is the mask that I'm using for the film, somebody broke into my car probably like a few weeks ago,
Okay.
which is fine now. They didn't take anything. I only had Kleenex in there.
Okay. Okay.
But they took my mask. It was Kleenex and my mask that I used for the film, and they took my mask. So
Sound like some crackhead.
it's
What the hell?
crazy, right? It's crazy. I was going downtown to go pass out flyers for this show, the Tiny Cookout show that I was
Okay.
doing. And yeah, I came back and windows busted. And then once it was time to do the other scenes for the movie, I was like, yo, where's my mask at? So, yeah, somebody stole my mask and I had to buy a new one. So, but the movie is done. So, but that was just one of those little weird little bumps in the road that happens, I don't know, while making the film sometimes, I guess.
Gotcha. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So let's switch gears a little bit. I know you've done some touring in the past. I know you've gone to Europe. You went to France, right? And this was almost like a social work meets hip hop type of tour, right? Talk about that experience. Like, what was that like? And what's something that France, like, kind of embraced when they first saw you?
Yeah. Well, they love hip hop out there.
Okay.
And then for some reason, every time they hear a woman's voice, they just, it's just a different energy out there.
Right.
And then it was nice too, just like being in the neighborhood or downtown and people recognizing you from the little bar you just did last night. And it probably wasn't even like a super packed show, but maybe it was because the bar was super small, but just people being like remembering you. Each year we would come like from the kids to their moms to random people we would meet in the street. And it's been nice connecting with our sister city, which is Angers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Angers is pretty similar to Austin, college town. And every year that we go, we're starting to see it grow even more, from restaurants to the people. But I say like the most fun thing is going into the schools for sure.
Okay.
And just being able to surprise the kids and see them be graded for poetry, and they have to read it back to us, and them just wanting to connect with us. Some of them are like a little shy, you know, but they eventually come around, you know, and just being able to share my story with them, because it just reminds me of when I was their age, just trying to figure it out. Where do I go? Am I supposed to be a poet? Like, am I gonna make friends? Like, how do I get into this? So yeah, it's always a dope experience. They always treat us with so much love out there. We're always super accommodated, like the van ready to go, the hotels. Even if we need a spot to stay at a homie spot, there's always somebody that's just being super genuine and down.
Like they roll out the red carpet, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
And how it should be in the States for artists that are local.
Yeah, you would think.
And, you know, trying to get it. Like, being able to have that backing to kind of just be able to focus on the music and not the other stuff.
Okay.
But I'm able to see, because the guys that book us, they are also artists in our collective.
Okay.
Which is MDK and the French Touch. So they're being artists and tour manager at the same time. So I'm able to see and learn from them how they maneuver all this. And sometimes they're just constantly on their phone. Yeah. And just making sure everything is going as planned.
I bet, yeah.
So that's, you know, things I take with me as well. As far as being on tour overseas. Weather's nice, of course. It's a little challenging, I feel like, being plant-based overseas, because they love...
Really?
At least Europe. Because they love cheese and bread out there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And if you are vegan and don't do dairy, you know... But they have grocery stores. They are growing. They do have, you know, certain spots. But I did learn that once I became plant-based, because I feel like the first couple of tours I wasn't. I was just eating everything. But then when I came back, I was like, dang, this is a little... We got to stop by Burger King? For real? I got to get the vegan nuggets from Burger King. But it's not that bad, you know. Just trying to work what I got. But, yeah.
Gotcha. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So the plan, too, is... to do London and Europe next June.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
there we go.
That's what we're working on right now. And I'm excited because I've never been to London. So
I love that. That's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about your album releases, right? So I know you got a tendency to kind of like, you know, drop with little warning, right?
Yeah.
What made you prefer like those surprise releases, like where nobody's expecting them and then boom, you know, new project out?
I kind of liked when Tupac used to talk about, or when he was talking about the Machiavelli album, he didn't even want it mixed or mastered. He just wanted it straight raw and to drop it. Right. And I just always was inspired by that mentality. Like, yes, I did. I would do like some, you know, promo things and like let it be known or do a lot of visuals around it and, you know, throw my parties and, you know, take it to the streets and let it be known that, you know, I just dropped. But yeah, I say that like that Machiavelli energy with just being like, even to this day, some of my songs I tell Mass, don't even master it. I like it how it is.
Keep it raw.
I like your mix.
Gotcha.
The way he mixes my, you know, and it just sounds final to me. I love it. But that's, I feel like, because he knows what to do with my voice. A lot of engineers don't, I feel like. but we've also been knowing each other for over 10 years.
Yeah, so y'all
it's
kind of
like,
locked in, so you know it's a little different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even to this day, I'll just be so hesitant. Like,
Right.
who's mixing me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I do a collab, I'll be like, who's doing the mixing? Or can we just have my engineer actually?
Right. Let me
You know?
get my guy. Okay.
But yeah, I say that's part of it for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's talk the future a little bit, right? So, you know, if you could describe your next era in 3 words, right? What would they be? I know it's a lot. I know you got film. I know you got the music. I know you got a lot happening, but if you could do 3 words.
3 words for
Your
the
next
music?
era.
For my next era?
Yeah, what would they be?
Damn.
So we could
You said 3?
Yeah, 3 words. It could be it could have to do with film, it could do with the music, it could do whatever. Hell, you could say the next Tarantino or something like that, and that'd be that. You know, just 3 words that you think that would, you know, encapsulate what you know what's coming next for you.
I just feel like it's always my best work yet. To date.
I like that. There we go.
I feel like I'm always getting greater. And even though, because I noticed too, like this year was my first time not dropping a project
Right.
out of 10 years. And I'm just like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But I still stayed in the gym though, throughout the year, this whole year. Still collabing, doing features, and just not rushing it either. But also understanding that I do want to drop, but how do I want to do it this time around?
Right.
So I definitely just been in the gym, still training, still writing. But this year I did like a lot of shows as well. Like since tour, like when I went on tour in June, I feel like it was still just nonstop shows.
Right.
After that, so it wasn't a challenge, but it was at the same time to make sure I was in the studio or writing at home or writing at work sometimes. So I forgot I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I'm just ready for the new era.
There we go.
A lot of stuff is already into play. I want to continue to make films. I want to continue to help other artists as well. Continue to give back to people.
Gotcha. So I'm curious, and this is kind of on a more personal note, right? So I know we already talking about the future. You know, we talking about, you know, you've done tours in, you know, Europe. You know, you said you got something coming in, you know, going to London soon. You got a potential, you know, short films coming down the line, stuff like that. You got a lot of things popping career-wise. But
yes,
what do you want the world to see from you? Not career-wise, but like, you know, spiritually, creatively. Like, are you going to be able to find time down the line to, like, you know, maybe decompress for a bit and kind of get away from it all for a bit, and, you know, like, what does that look like for you?
Well, I really want people to know that I do this for us.
Okay.
Especially Black women that look like me.
Gotcha.
That are navigating these spaces and just trying to figure themselves out as we continue to grow. Do I think about taking time off? I wish. Sometimes I feel like I can't afford to do that.
I get that.
Even with this year, I was like, yo, like, I gotta. But then I found myself in the studio being like, no, you don't have to actually. Like, you can really take your time on these records that you're doing.
Right.
And really make something that feels good to not just me, but to everybody else.
Okay.
So yeah, I say that would be my biggest takeaway is that like I definitely do this for us, and yeah, I want to see more artists that look like me. You know, whether that's in film, running sound, doing lights, whatever it is. So I say that's something that I would like people to know.
There we go. I love that. So I was gonna say before we wrap up, we got a final question of the night, right? So we already talked about this
got
off air. We asked this question to everybody that pulls up to the show, right? So now that you got a chance to chop it up, good convo, good vibes, all that. Who do you think will be a good guest for the podcast in the future? But before you answer,
Okay.
this has to be somebody somebody like in your contacts or something like that. You'd be like, hey, I pulled up on the 12 lunch break.
Yeah.
You need to come through. Who would that person or people be? You don't have to limit it. You can say as many names as you want to, but we need at least one name.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with Nicotine.
Okay.
Her name is Nicotine. She's singer and rapper. Super dope. She's lived back and forth from Houston and Austin.
Okay.
So, yeah, we just did a show together for the Tiny Cookout show, and that was super successful.
Okay.
And yeah, I would love for people to hear her story and how she get down.
Gotcha.
Ambrose Brown, he's super dope. He's done my short films. He just dropped a project as well that I'm featured on, so shout out to him. I'm like, who else? Have you interviewed Los?
No. I want to see if we can lock that in.
Okay.
I haven't got it. I've interviewed
Los for
everybody,
sure.
but not him yet, though.
Yeah, Los for sure.
Okay.
He's the funniest man on IG. So
There we go. Hey, all three of y'all, we need to lock in, man. We need to lock it down for real.
yeah.
So I was gonna say, man, before we wrap up, let's plug your social media handles.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you, and where can everybody find your music?
Everybody can find me at Blakchyl, Blakchyl. Super easy. TikTok, IG, Facebook sometime-ish. And the same with music as well. Apple Music, Spotify, Shazam, all under Blakchyl. So holla at me, stay in touch. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you can find me on the East. I'm definitely somewhere on the East side. So.
There we go. West 78702. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, this wraps up this edition of the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast. Once again, shout out to the homie Blakchyl for taking time out to kick it with us. Shout out to our production behind the boards. Everett, you can find him on Instagram.
Absolutely.
At Cafe Yoto. New episodes of the 2 Hour Lunch Break are streaming on all DSPs every Thursday. And you can find us on Instagram and X at 2HLB Pod. Thank you for tuning in. We out. Hey.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.